we're going to take a go right to our next guest, and I have Robert Michaels with us, and we're going to be talking about the well, it's kind of a topic that we really need to address, number one, and make young people understand what happened in the past.
Well, the Holocaust of
Exactly.
World War II. Unfortunately, it's a phenomenon that was bigger than everything that has happened since, but it is the same thing that is happening
Right.
now.
I know.
And so
I mean,
we're teaching the kids in their own research on the Holocaust, which was a historical event, is that we are hopefully educating them to be responsible people today and to do what they can as citizens and as voters and as community leaders to oppose that kind of phenomenon.
step up and know. And the thing is, you've got young people, I mean, you and I both know what happened during the Holocaust. I mean, it was something that perhaps we grew up with, we understood what was going on, so it's fresh in our memory. But suppose you take a 12-year-old, and because we're talking about middle school, we're talking about high school that enter this essay contest. So you tell them, we'd like to have you present something, an essay that we can judge. Okay. Where do they start?
I would guess that they start with our website. Now, they start with their teachers, actually, because each of the public schools is required to teach a little about the Holocaust, but not a lot. We hope that the teachers will participate in our contest.
And they have in the past.
They have, and we have kids who are doing more. They're doing their own research, extracurricular research on the Holocaust, and on a particular topic. Every year we have a different one, and that's what they do research on. They look at our website. They have some resources on the website.
So they're guided. In a way, they're guided by their teachers, right?
They are guided, and that is a very important component, because you know that there are many Holocaust deniers.
Oh, I mean, can you believe that?
Nasty kinds of anti-factual.
Yeah. And we see that more and more, and I don't know where it came from, but this QAnon and all that. It's just,
yeah. It's something that is like an alternative reality for
it's
these
an
people.
I love that. It's an alternative reality.
Yeah, and so we hopefully have credible information that are resources on our website, and the guidance of teachers is critical, that these kids are encouraged to come to our contest because we are a trusted entity. And they do research, and as you'll probably show later on, we have some winners.
Yeah, why don't we talk about them right now? And I think we have two photos that Jan will bring up.
Yeah.
And one is from middle school, and that's, I believe Jacob is from middle
Lamb,
school.
yeah.
Yeah, Lamb. There they are. There's their photographs. So
Okay.
tell me about those two beautiful people.
Well, I don't do research on our particular winners, and I don't
Well,
know
one
anything
is
about
from the
them except
Christian
that they're
school.
smart.
Yeah, one is from a Christian school.
Christian school,
Yeah.
and the other is Niskayuna High
Niskayuna
School.
High School, right.
And these kids have read their essays at a Zoom award ceremony. They did a great job. I asked for a couple of photographs because the Jewish World newspaper
Yeah.
was interested in publishing.
And they were
their
both
photos.
first winners, but one in different classes.
One high school first prize, one middle school first prize. We have 3 prizes at each level. So
Yeah, I saw that.
6
First, second, and
prizes
third, yeah.
Total. And we give away.
And they come from all over the schools.
Yeah, any
Yeah.
Of the 12 contiguous counties with Schenectady County and Albany County.
And how many essays do you get that somebody has to sift through?
Well, we don't broadcast the numbers, except I will tell
A
you
lot.
that we get a good number of them. We have gotten less in the last couple of years because of the pandemic.
Okay.
And so what that has done is increased your chances of winning.
Oh, okay. That's a good way to look at it. Look at the odds. That's great.
If you are listening, you should know that we've had somewhat fewer schools.
And you give a nice prize.
We have given away, I think each year, something like $1,300
Yeah.
each year. And we get funding from the Jewish Federation
Right.
and the Sternlicht Memorial Holocaust Fund, and we get some private donations as well. We get donations from the Congregation Gates of Heaven Brotherhood, and we get donations from the B'nai B'rith in Albany. And so we have a good number of sources. We have a good number of people who believe in us. And the consequence of our support over decades has been not high school kids, not middle school kids. We have thousands by now of community leaders. These kids have become adults.
Yeah.
They've become parents. They've become teachers. They've become our community leaders as politicians and office holders. These people are influenced, hopefully in a positive way, by our essay contest. This is the legacy that we bring each year, and that's why people fund us. It's, you're getting a picture of a couple of kids now, wonderful kids. But those kids, believe it or not, are going to grow up, and they're going to assume leadership.
And they're going to know what happened and repeat. The thing is that if we don't know about, I mean, it's what happened recently, and I don't want to, I don't want to get into details, but what happened recently has been alarming to me. That we have seen this upsurge of deniers of the Holocaust. We've seen, and people seem to be more vocal about it. I don't understand when we have photographs, we have, I mean, the people that went in there and saw what was going on at towards the end of the war, well, sort of the end of the war. I mean, it was alarming, and thank goodness they took photographs, because you can't deny those.
Yes, and they still exist as historic monuments.
Yeah.
Auschwitz can still be visited.
Yeah.
Not by me. I will not. It's just too shocking for me.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I have a friend who lost a number of family members,
and so did I.
Yeah, and so it's hard to relive that. I did see on Facebook, I think it was yesterday, a statue that apparently was at Dachau. That it was, and I don't know, maybe you know what this is, but they said the alarming thing about this prisoner is that he has his hands in his pockets, which apparently they weren't supposed to do. He's hatless, and he has his eyes up instead of down, and it was called the person that is defiant. And I thought, what an interesting statue to put up to show that there was a defiance somewhere, but it was probably very rare.
Well, we've seen a lot of contemporary works of art, and some of them are large works of art. For example, in Germany itself, there are acres of repeated kind of boxes, concrete boxes, that are reminiscent of what happened, and it was a way that Germany had for taking responsibility.
They took responsibility, yeah.
And we have had kids in this country memorializing 6 million killed in the Holocaust with paper clips, and kind of showing how many paper clips that is. Because
yeah, I know.
Beyond
can't even imagine. Those numbers are just so big.
It's the hatred, it's the ignorance, it's the contagion of those expressions of hate to other people, and I've been very upset to see that in our country.
Absolutely, I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. It's very disturbing. Now, I don't know, are you at all, and this is coming off of just wild, I guess, off my brain here. We were talking about doing something with the Holocaust Memorial on New Route 7. Do you know anything about that, or if it's moving forward, or?
Well, I do think it is moving forward. I don't know specifically.
It's a Catholic cemetery, then they offered land, I believe.
Yeah, that was donated land, and I believe that the project has gone through an environmental review, and I believe it still needs some local approvals.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with that.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had heard more about it. I haven't heard recently, so I thought perhaps you might update me on it a little bit. Yeah.
No, we have many expressions of remembrance, and the biggest one that's very famous is the Holocaust Museum in Washington.
Yeah, I've been there. That's
very powerful.
Yeah, it's very powerful. I've been through that.
And so this is not rare, and there is also a.
Yeah, doesn't the New York State Museum has a small? one, or they did at one time, I think.
Well, there are several in New York State. I don't know what is
The
in
State
New York
Museum
State.
has one. They do. I think they have a small one.
It's possible.
What
Not
Anne
familiar.
Frank's room would have been like or something, I think they have. So it's not very big, but,
The size isn't the key, it's the visitation and the recognition it gets. There is an oral history program as well out in California that Steven Spielberg leads.
Okay.
Which interviews the dying breed of Holocaust survivors.
yeah, I don't know there aren't very many left, are there? I think there's a few, but not many.
Not too many, and as these become recorded, they become part of history, they become part of the record, they become Exhibit A for many educational venues, and it's a very important project.
Yeah, yeah, and I know that I don't even know if there's any more of the, when they were doing the Nazi hunters, of course, and they were really pulling some, but many of them are probably so old now that it's, we're probably not finding any more, but who knows, you know. We need to hold people's feet to the fire. If they've done something wrong, they need to be addressed, so.
Well, I agree with you, Ann, but I will say that my own viewpoint is moving forward in history, not backward.
Yeah.
History is...
Oh, you still have to remember what happened, or else you're bound to repeat it.
That is my feeling, that history provides examples that can teach us about how we should conduct ourselves in
Now.
the future.
Yeah.
And I have sympathy for those who want to hold to the fire, the feet to the fire, or whatever you put it.
Yeah.
But my real concern is going forward to prevent these kinds of atrocities from happening again.
Yeah, and we see them happening not just with the Jewish, but also the people in China, the Uyghurs. I mean,
Yeah.
so this is not. I mean, this continues, and there's doesn't seem any way to stem that tide of indifferent. Whether you're talking about whether it's racial or religious or whatever,
It may not be very original to say this, but there's the concept of thinking globally and acting locally, and we are acting in
Locally.
12-county area,
Yeah.
which I would consider local relative. to the
Absolutely.
problem.
What you're doing is wonderful, and someday I hope that when you come on next year, you'll bring one of your students with you to read an essay. Wouldn't that be nice?
Well, I could do that, and it is something to consider.
Yes.
All you have to do is invite me.
Oh, I'm going to invite you every year because I think what you do is wonderful, Robert. It's just really wonderful. Dr. Robert Michaels, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Likewise, Ann. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
good.